All right, guys, if you're here, you know what we're going to do, right? If you're following our Unraid series here, we are going to now get DaVinci Resolve project server up and running on the Unraid. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the actual application. And wish their navigation thing was a little bit easier than this, but you know, first we need to get the actual application right here. DaVinci Resolve project server. As you can see, you can only run on either Mac OS or Windows, and that presents us kind of a problem, right? Because obviously I can't run it like a Docker container like I did with DaVinci Resolve. So I'm going to have to run it on Windows. Now, you have a couple of options you can go about with this. You can either run it run Windows as a Docker. Like I've looked into this one here, Windows and Docker. It's actually pretty good. Although me personally, I don't kind of feel like going through the hassle of trying to like make sure I keep it backed up and stuff, because you know, Windows lets you use their operating system even if you don't have a key up until that trial expires, and then you don't get security updates anymore. I believe it's been a minute since I've messed with that part of Windows, right? So obviously if you're going to do this, just know that if you know, you're gonna need to buy yourself a product key, and obviously you're gonna need to make absolute sure you're backing up your Docker container, and you practice and you know the means of being able to like recover your Docker container if you ever need to. Like, you should be able to nuke your entire Unraid server and reinstall everything, reinstall, and then like literally reinstall this Windows Docker container in the exact same state it was in when you activated it. Right? That's what you're gonna need to be able to do to avoid any issues. Unless of course they somehow get the tie the Windows activation key to the Unraid server. I don't know how that works with it being in a Docker container, but I don't know. I don't feel like testing that out. So what I'm actually going to do instead is I am actually going to do the VM machine, right? Which is the other thing you can do. So I was originally going to do a Windows 11 Pro VM machine, but I'm actually going to run Windows Server instead, just because I have some other things I plan on doing pretty soon. So let's go ahead and enable our VMs, right? So I don't like VMs auto starting. I don't like anything ever auto starting. So we'll kind of kill that there. And well, let's look at that default Windows virtual IO driver ISO thing. Ugh. I am going to have to double check and see what that even is supposed to be. So one moment. Okay, this is, luckily they also had you know, the little, what do you call this, tooltips right here within. Okay, so the drivers that we're going to need in order for the VM machine to actually be able to see the hard drives, or basically like, you know, the virtual hard drives we make. So okay, understood. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply here. All right, then we're just gonna go ahead and start downloading those drivers, and then after that, then we can kind of get started. All right, those are done. Now let's go ahead and jump on over to the VM section, and here we go. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our VM. So what do I have here for options? Well, I need Windows Server 2025 because that's what I have a product key for. See, they got Windows 11. That's cool. They got all of these on here, but so let's go ahead and let's hit custom. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going a little crazy here. Go back to add VM. Okay, after digging through some of the VM documentation, I now have a better understanding of what's going on. So first and foremost, the only thing I'm gonna just point out from here that is actually a good point is just the networking. So if you want your VM machine to be 100% isolated from your Unraid server, then this is something you're going to apply. Now we want it to also be able to access the stuff on our Unraid server. So we're going to actually leave it on default, right? But essentially, if you go settings, network settings, as long as you have your bridging on, which is over here, enable bridging, right? Then when you start your VM machine, you we'll just pick this Windows Server 2016 because we're going to install 2025. If you use BRO, if you want it to be like basically a device on the same network, right? So like it can access any of the network stuff on your Unraid server. The virtual BRO, right, would completely isolate it from Unraid, and the only thing would just be the network access and like one other thing that I think is like technical in nature. But yeah, that's that. So I'm giving it 3 CPUs. I'll just get the N ones here. Oh, and the threads here, might as well, right? I am giving it 1 gig of starting memory. It can go up to 12. The machines, right? So the i44s is for Windows based, Q35s is for Linux based. Now the OVMF and OVMF TPM, my understanding should be the UEIF BIOS, right? So luckily they have all of that here for us. So let's look at it to see here. So let's see if I scroll down, advanced options here in BIOS, right? Yeah, see BIOS is traditional BIOS, but OVMF is the the newest stuff. So like, okay, cool. Right. And I'm doing all this while I'm downloading my Windows Server 2025 ISO image, right? So all I simply did was just do Windows Server 2025, clicked on this one for the evaluation center. It brought me here, get the 64-bit version, obviously. And yeah, so while that's downloading, I'm just setting this up. Yep, I do want Hyper-V. Now, USB controller, see, there's a 2.0 and then there's a 3.0 with some extra stuff. So let's take a quick look here to see. I would love to know like what it is, but I guess not. All right. Well, it looks like I'm leaving it be. So let's see next one. So now ISO install directory here. Click and select CD-ROM image to install operating system. That's not what I want. Oh, because you know what? I need to get it here. Right. So what I need to do, I was already downloading it straight to the what's its face, right? The folder I have on here. Oh, I guess it wasn't. Well, that's unfortunate. Let me just kind of rename this here, Windows Server 2025. Right, and no point in having it on. Well, actually, yeah, I should probably. So let's do this here. So I am going to copy it and put it on here. This would be power of least resistance here. So I'll get that on there, and then what I'm going to just simply do is, and I'm just going to use the terminal real quick to just move it. So first off, that should be, I believe it's mount users, right? Guess not. I think it's just user. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't auto correcting, but all right. User. Okay, let's see. I want the production. So let's go here, right? Because that's the folder where the network drive is at. And there we go, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to CD to here just to make my life just a little bit easier. And as soon as this is done, which it should be any moment now, I'm also just going to get the code going. Let's see. So I'm going to move Windows Server 2025, and I'm going to move that to, let's see, it's mount a user, and then where the ISOs are. So let's just do that real quick. And that'll obviously, I guess, take it some time. So as soon as it's done, then we'll probably have to jump out and come right back into the thingamabob here in order for that ISO to show up. So let's wait and see. All right, that finished. So let us give it a check and see now. So yep, kind of exactly what I thought. So let me just jump right back out, go back here, use this as the base here, 2016. All right, rename you 2025. Oops, not in 2026 quite yet, right? Okay, and then I want these three. And I do need to take off the last one. Gradable. Let's see. 1 gig. Up to 12. All right. So everything else was just about good here. Give it Windows Server. I do wonder if those spaces will be a problem. I'm sure it won't be. OS install CD-ROM bus. I'm just going to assume that's just fine. Yeah. All right. And then, yeah, so the drivers, when we get to that point, another driver there, primary disk location, manual, right? Or let me see, what is it? Mount VM. Okay. Yeah. That's exactly where I want it. I want it in the VM right there. Okay, cool. And then primary vdisk size. We want this to be 500. Yeah, raw. Yeah, boot order, sure. Probably just sure. Let's see, Unraid share. Manual, I guess. Yeah. Unraid source path, Unraid mount tag. Graphic card virtual. Or can I actually force it to use? I'll leave it virtual for right now. Yeah, we'll just leave it virtual for now. Yeah, VNC is fine. VM console enable copy paste. VM console auto port. VM console video. Sure. Password for VM console. Well, let me handle that real quick. Okay, gave it a password. Let's see, console keyboard, cool. Sound card. Well, I don't know. Well, I wish they would have given a little bit more explanation on that. So virtualization preferences, create your own VM. Here we go. Right, graphics card. If you're not assigned a specific VNC, password can be optionally specified for VNC. Will work as a secondary display. USB keyboard and mouse as well. Ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm gonna leave it be for right now. It's a Windows server after all. So let's see. So SoundCloud leave be, Mac share, source BRL. Yep. So this is what I was talking about. Just want to see network model. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Boot order. Yeah, that's fine. Create clocks, local time. Hyper-V clock. Okay, we'll leave all that be. Okay, let's create and see what happens. Internal failed to start library for program start is disabled in VM settings. Oh, so do I need to? Well, that's very strange, but okay. I mean, sure. I guess I can always disable that later. So I guess I'll just say no for right now. Hit apply. Doesn't like that I have that off for whatever reason. Okay. All right. Let's hit create. VNC password is 9 characters long, only 8 per minute. All right, fine. 1 moment. All right, hopefully that works. It kind of sucks it has to be 8, but all right. All right, let's hit create again and see. Okay, well, that was kind of fast. All right, let's see. Okay, I'll press skip in 1 second to skip, so I need a key to continue. Shall. All right. Okay, I figured it out. So, all right. Everything we did up to this point is correct, right? It's just once we get to this menu here, like when you I guess when you boot into this or whatever, right? It just brings you here, or you're already here at this point. Just hit exit. Right, this will bring you to what will look like the BIOS of a boot manager, and then just hit continue, and then what it'll do is it'll loop, like kind of like how you would see it play out like in an actual like freshly built system, right? If there's no operating system, a lot of motherboards, not all, but a lot of motherboards will sit there and just like have the whole system just reboot again once it realizes there's no devices after you just press a button. So if you just hit continue, this will see it'll be doing back to the boot thing. Just make sure you press a button. Press a button before like that goes away. Otherwise, you'll be back into that terminal area. And yeah, there we go. See, you got the typical like Windows loading file thing. So we know that we are now booting into the Windows server disk image. So, or ISO. So let's see where we're at. Memory in use. Damn, it jumped up to 9 gigs already. That's pretty crazy. It was like literally like 200 megs when I last looked at it. But all right. But yeah. So there we go. It's so far so good. I guess, this is a learning curve for us, but we'll get through it. So once this is done, we'll see what happens. I kind of like how this cool Unraid thing comes up as if like, it's like an operating system. You'll see how the hard drive thing comes about. So, okay, here we go, right? So I got English here, keyboard US, install Windows Server. Okay, here do we delete it? All right, let's get a few things ready. It might complain that there's no there's data center evaluation, and then desktop experience. Let me see. This limits most of the graphical environment managed with a command prompt PowerShell remotely with the Windows Admin Center or other tools. Yes. We will use definitely the desktop experience. So, okay. Because I have a data center edition, so we'll be using that. So, hit accept here. All right, so here's the part where it should complain, right? All right, so load drivers. So let's see what we got here. So definitely going to be this right here, and I want to say it's under AMD 64. What in the world is these 2K ones? Let's try Windows. Do I want to try Windows 11? Let me get a quick Google to find out which one of these servers here are, or which one of these folders will have the drivers in which we need to look for. One moment. All right, the best I can come up with is, like I said, I know it's the AMD 64s, and it looks like these 2K ones may be the server ones. So I have 2025, so let's go ahead and just get this here. virtual SCSI. Excuse me. All right, let's go ahead and hit install. Search for disk, and there you go. Yep, see, there go our little partition. So yeah, so that worked out perfectly. So go ahead and install Windows Server. Yep, keep nothing, and then hit install. All right, so this is now going to install the Windows Server operating system. So man, this is a first for me. Have not done this before, so this is also pretty exciting. Let me see. I got my Docker images. That one's somewhere, and it should be these, right? Yeah. So it should be like, I don't even remember which ones I signed. I think it was 27, 25, and 23. Yeah, because see, these are the only three that are like jumping. Yeah, because I want to say those are on the same chip. I think it should be. The way it was presented to me, I think it was on the same chip. That's why I did it. But and the threads, right? Because I wanted the threads to be on here as well. But all right, well, this is obviously going to take a little bit, so we'll come back to this when it's done. All right, looks like it's chucking along. So I finished that initial thing and then went straight into this. So we still got some time to go. All right, and it finished. That actually was actually a little faster than I thought it was going to be. All right, so now let us go ahead and give it our password and go from there. All right, as soon as I give it the password, it just quickly went into finalizing and said done. I see the three, it was really working those 3 CPUs and threads. Wait, is that it? That's it. We're just in here already. Okay, whoops. Not what I wanted. Press Control. Oh, do I have to use, I probably have to use over here, don't I? Clipboard, extra keys. Okay, well, there we go. All right. Okay, so signed in, or signing in. Let's prepare Windows. It was showing that it didn't have no internet access in the bottom right, but I wonder if that's just something we can't just fix up real quick. Yeah, I don't want none of this extra stuff there. So required only. It says it does not have no internet access. No internet access, no connections available. All right, so I kind of figured out. So I opened up Device Manager and saw, to my expectation, right? So the Ethernet controller doesn't have a driver, and instead of, well, at first I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just try to install the driver, but I spent some time trying to look this up, and up front I can't find anything that would tell me where specifically the folder is that I want to use. But I did find out that it has just a setup file that you could just use to install them all, apparently. So we're going to try that. So if I go here, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't tell you what folder the network ones are in, because yeah, I was like, I'm not about to sit here and try to look all that. So let's just go ahead and use the installer and see what happens here. So, all right, man, they just do not make this stuff easy. And okay, it looks like it's yep. So the network, there go the network, and boom, it's installing. So I wonder if there's anything else we get. Ooh, floppy disks. All right, well, I guess that's that then. Let me close this and go back to that installer. We have internet now, so that's all fun. Let's run some updates real quick, and we will then we'll move on to installing the DaVinci Resolve Studio.